There's a strong chance you're not that far off from winning in business and at the game of life. It just takes one idea, but you gotta have unwavering belief and burning desire. If you can couple that with a lockdown strategy that's fueled by heart, hustle, and muscle, you got a shot at winning. There's one thing that all champions have in common. They get shit done. So welcome to the Get Shit Done experience. Well, we find ourselves getting shit done again. I'm here with Tim Ward, our CEO, founder of TTSG, GSD Technologies and 2020 Design, and now the Get Shit Done experience. So you're seeing episode 3. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
By the way, thank you for starting the show. Thank you for having the vision of wanting to have a show. And thank you for seeing me as a person that should be put in the pilot seat. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Good
so this is going to be interesting because your philosophy on business has been, we'll get into your 3 pillars, but a lot of that kind of comes from that root of get shit done, right? Yeah. And we told the story on the last episode with Brian Bickle that that one of our major customers said, hey, you got to start an IT company because all you do is get shit done, right? So you find yourselves, listeners, here in the domain of where things get done, where shit gets done. Tim, where does the vision of starting a business originate, right? So you were in sales, came up through the progression that a salesperson would, top performer, multiple different organizations, saw Corporate USA's version of it, 2009 hits, boom, start us off there.
Yeah, I mean, I just did the worst time to start a business in the history of starting a business, except if after this after COVID. Yeah, this one. No, I in 2008 I was traveling. I was working for a company called Image Systems, and I was traveling back and forth from California, Santa Clara, California, and for Kumar Malavalli from disaster recovery and business continuity side of the software, and we sold a deal. Company was getting bought out or whatnot, and I came back to Chicago, and copiers and printers were it was managed print service was just in my blood. So in hindsight, when you look at it, you're like, oh, you go, I went to Western Illinois University, right? Like I didn't want to go to school.
Marketing degree.
Marketing, management, computer science, all that. So I really didn't even want to go to school. I just wanted to work. I was a worker, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is that when I got out of college, I'd gotten a job selling copiers and printers, and it was, for a small company, and which then grew into a very large company, and that was sold and was bought and sold, and then it turned into Xerox. So my thing is that when you see that evolution of a small business, and you're with owners, or you're with the people that started that business, there's a like a lure, like a stigma to that whole era,
like what's that lifestyle like?
Yeah, like you've got people that you're responsible for. You've got people that then, that start with your company and that make money, and then then all of a sudden the whole life hits it, and they get married, they have kids, 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and a dog, and the whole thing. So, in 2009, when I came back from California selling software in a space that I didn't know anything about, it was a new space. I just really missed the management service side of the business, and something that I was successful in. And then when you really look at how from 2009 till the current, right, to 2024, how that landscape has changed, and how much, and back in 2003 to 2009 or 2008, 2001 to 2008, from when I was working and managed print services was becoming a thing. And now how different it is.
What's changed? What's so different?
The landscape, the business has changed. Number one, after COVID, you've got 33% of the offices in the city of Chicago are not stacked like before. I mean, just the whole landscape.
That hybrid workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all changed. And you've got to adapt, and you've got to adapt.
There's always savings, but it's about way more than savings alone. Total Technology Solutions Group redefines managed print services. Excellence is the minimum standard. TTSG is a true managed print service provider, deeply understanding your technology and business goals. Your business is unique. Our solutions are tailored to your current and future business goals. Our customer-first approach empowers and delights. TTSG can ensure your technology environment will scale as your business does. So as you navigate business and constant change, partner with TTSG for premium advisement and seamless implementation of your technology goals. We set the bar high. Your people deserve it. Peace of mind, powerful innovation, TTSG.com. Do you think that's an advantage for a small business that has more agility? Or a disadvantage because maybe not the same resources?
I mean, you could look at all the statistics from the manufacturers and business itself, in the small business world. I mean, you've got large companies out there that have a large overhead. And when COVID hit, it hit hard for a lot of people. TTSG and GSD in 2020, well, not 2020 because I started. I started 2020.
Hence 2020.
Yeah, hindsight, and, full, crystal clear vision. But no, I mean, from 2009 when I started, and I didn't know that I was going to start a company. Right? I didn't know that I was going to start a company, but it was just going to be me, right?
So you weren't at age 15 saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to own my own business someday.
No, I was going to be a sales guy.
Okay.
My dad was sales. He was an insurance salesman.
So it's in the DNA. You got the pedigree.
Yeah, 100%. My dad was 30 years with New York Life Insurance Company. He was a trainer. He trained salespeople, very successful salespeople that became successful. And he's, my dad's turning 80 in February.
Awesome.
And, he's got friends that he's had for 50 years that he's coached. When they were coming into New York Life, that still call him and still hang out and still talk to him. And I just talked to a guy the other day that knew of my father. But when you look at starting a business, first of all, it's the whole thing. It's like, how do you start it? You got to do all the Secretary of State stuff and everything else. There's a lot of points before you fill out that paperwork. There's a lot of things that go against you and your mindset.
I'm sure. I don't understand this part.
You got to you got to set up the business. You got to do this. Now, today, it's easier. But before you had to do everything in person. 2009, you were still doing stuff in person. You were still seeing an attorney. You're still seeing you're still seeing that. So when you tell other people your story of I'm going to start a copy and printer company, since 2001, they've said paper is going.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's all this stuff. When you tell somebody in 2009 that you're going to start a copier and printer company and a management service company, they kind of look at you funny, right? You're going to get into a dying.
Yeah. Why are you going into a dinosaur?
Yeah, dinosaur.
But the numbers all tell a different story.
Yeah, 100%. So when you really look at it, you look at the fear that I had in 2009 to go out on my own. You're not getting a paycheck. In 2009, I was probably making, $300,000 or $400,000, and I was doing that for, software.
This is working for another company.
Yeah.
As a top sales rep.
Yeah. I mean, I was making a couple $100,000. Then I was making more money. And then all of a sudden in 2009, you go, I don't care about the money. I care about what I'm doing. Right. So I had a passion for the management service side of it. So your fear is that, I'm not going to have anything, all the material possessions and everything else. I'm not going to have my house. I'm not going to have this. Now, I was 29 years old, so I didn't have a family.
You're still living in the outer world, not in the inner world, right?
So it didn't really have any, I didn't have any of those extra.
Less risk.
Yeah, it was less risk averse. Yeah, for sure. No, I was
more risk averse, had less risk.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not bringing people along into your risk with you.
No, so then when I did this, I sold a couple deals, and then the operations side of the business kicked in. I'm in sales. I don't know how to hook up copiers and printers. I don't know how to deliver them. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So it kind of evolved very quickly. It evolved because of the way that we've got, you know, employees. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the way that people came and found out and then didn't have anything going on and wanted to give this a try.
Yeah.
The people that weren't in sales, that people, top sales reps that I had in 2016, 2017, 2018 were guys that I groomed from 2009, 2010.
And a lot of them you got from hospitality, bartenders,
Yeah.
or people that you met at some association or some other affiliation or somebody referred. But you didn't hire to positions, you hired to people.
Yeah.
Like you hired people that you thought you could, first off, that you personally could have an impact on their life
Yeah.
and help. And secondly, that you saw had commonality and were wanting to be part of something. So you were hiring for the human, and then you found a position that was relevant to them.
Yeah. You've got, there's different, personalities that you need. You need an outgoing personality for a sales role.
Mhm.
You need somebody that's got the grit, that's got the hard work, dedication, perseverance. That's gonna drive themselves as an entrepreneur, like thinking as themselves as an entrepreneur.
An
right?
intrapreneur.
Yeah. So you're finding those types of people, and then you're engaging with those types of people, and then you're coaching those types of people, and then they turn out, however they turn out.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have the big, it's like in sports. This guy's supposed to be
The number one draft pick.
Yeah, the next, Patrick Kane or the next this.
The
and that
punter stays for 18 years, and the
Yeah.
number one draft pick is on 6 different teams
Yeah.
within 6 years.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the Tom Brady story, right?
Yeah.
You're the last pick of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get those, and then sometimes you get the people that you can't want something more than the person wants it for themselves.
There you go.
And that was a big fall for me in the earlier times.
You thought
of
you
the
could
business.
fix people.
Not even necessarily fix people. I just wish that I wish that they wished what I thought
Yeah.
of them about themselves.
Ah.
It wasn't trying to fix them. It was more of a part that I had such a belief that they could do this. And then, and then the other ones that came into the business, they did, and they're very successful, and they're out there doing their own thing. And some of them have their own companies, and that's phenomenal. That's what you wish for somebody, because this is my dream.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm living every day. And, it's so cliche to say that it's like, oh, I haven't worked a day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's more days that I feel like that than there are days that are work.
That's your 5149.
Yeah. Like it's for real. Like when you have a passion and you love something and you're doing something, those people are understanding what I'm saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
The people that aren't understanding what I'm saying are probably
stuck.
You're probably stuck. But unfortunately, that's a majority of the culture or the marketplace that we're in. People that are having jobs and doing this, and they're W-2 employees and everything else. They haven't and some people need that. Some people need that structure.
So 86% of businesses fail under 5 years. I think 94% under 10.
Yeah.
You started the business in 2009, incorporated in 2010. So you could say the official time of the start of the business would be 2010, right? Therefore, next year's 15-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So you passed those thresholds, which is pretty freaking awesome, right?
Yeah.
And not only with TTSG, but then you said, like, are you a serial entrepreneur? Like, what's going on, Tim? Like, can you not sleep at night? You just got to start another company. You're on to your third, but there's a little secret I don't know if a lot of people know. It's actually your fifth.
Yeah.
And you could conceivably say that this, because it is going to operate as a separate brand, is your sixth.
Oh, wow. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Okay, so when you make that point, do you contribute that thought process to why the failure rate perhaps is so high? That people are not passionate about what they're doing. They're doing it because they thought they loved it, and then they get into it and they don't find joy in the boredom of repetition. They don't find joy in learning how to do the administrative stuff or finding a person to take over the operational stuff.
Yeah.
What do you attribute some of those businesses out there that maybe are on that brink where the CEO or the founder is like having thoughts like, am I cut out for this?
It's almost like survivor guilt, right?
Yeah.
Like you go through this and the odds are against business owners and small business owners in particular, right? So you're already getting into an arena that is already expecting you to fail.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if you were just a statistic. Like, oh yeah, he had his own business and he failed. The thing is that when you start your own business, there is so much pressure. And if you don't have feel that pressure, if you don't feel the need to succeed, that I don't know.
You got to relinquish the pressure.
I've never been in that position.
Yeah.
Like I've had in my in the early days, and I mean even now, like we're nowhere near where I want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's taken a long time to get to where we're at right now. And there's building blocks. And, I started the business when I was young. I made a ton of errors, ton of mistakes, did a bunch, there's financial mistakes, there's hiring mistakes, there's, building mistakes, right? There's just so many. But when you look at how many businesses fail and you look at then what it takes to run a successful business, it could be 1 degree off.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
It's a 1 degree.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it's like putting.
It's literally, literally.
Like,
honest to God.
Yeah.
I mean, and during COVID, and you go from 2009 to 2020, that was an 11-year run, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did phenomenal. And through COVID, the first year of COVID, it was rough, but we did well. We had to cut back a lot of our budgeting and a lot of our stuff that we needed to do. And we closed the city of Chicago office down because the city was shut down.
Yeah.
I was very lucky.
It's like you had to put the tornado shutters up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you were still operating, but you had some defenses up.
Yeah. I mean,
because you had to protect the herd.
Yeah. And I made some very early decisions in COVID from the very, very get-go of what the plan was going to be, and stuck to that plan immensely. I mean, to the T. And I had help. I had, you have your corporate attorneys and you have your financial people and everything else. But in all reality, it's 1 degree.
Yeah.
It's 1 degree off. And you could be, it's the Y at the road, and there's so many times that I've looked back since 2009 and been like, how many more of those Ys, they get further and farther apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's always that Y that comes up that if you make the wrong turn or if you have too many 5149s, right? 4951s, right? That those wear on people. And owning business and having a business is not what everyone thinks it is. It's not, You're not on a yacht, you're not drinking champagne, you're not private jets, you're not doing all that stuff. I mean, not in the very beginning and certainly not in the middle because you're working too much.
Because you're scaling.
Yeah, and you're scaling.
So even when you're successful, you're putting it back in because you want more.
Yeah. I mean, and that's all people ever think is, oh, it must be nice.
Yeah.
There's
well, in many cases, and CEOs and founders, you probably feel this. And by the way, if you're an employee of a small to mid-sized business, I think this is important that you hear this too. Like the advantage that I have, okay, is when I go home and put my head down on the pillow, I can put my head down on the pillow and I'm thinking about my wife and kids and . Yeah. When you go home and put your head on the pillow, you're thinking about my wife and kids.
Yeah.
You're thinking about 45 other people's wife and kids.
Yeah.
And so that's a different pressure. Now, the best attribute I think you would admit to, and I think anyone who knows you well knows, is that you are a like world-class salesperson. Do you think that has been the key element to your success? Of having that confidence that no matter what, you can find a way to bring in the next partnership, to establish relationships, maintain relationships. Like, I think it's important that we identify our weaknesses, but we also have to play hard into our strengths.
Yeah, strength of mine is definitely sales. I love the customer interaction. I love being out at the facilities and seeing, because it's another thing. Like when you're dealing with small and SME, right, small medium enterprise business, right, like. What you're looking at is typically you're at companies that you're like, wow, we could be like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're above you,
Mhm.
right? And like in a status level, like, you know, like they've got more employees than you,
Mhm.
or they've got a bigger facility than you, or like, and you're having those interactions with those business owners. And I'm talking to those business owners on a day-to-day
On a
basis.
peer-to-peer level
on a
too.
peer-to-peer. And I'm like, hey, the thing about me is I'm always, you know, hey, I need some help.
Mhm.
Can you help me? You know, you're doing really well. Can you give me a little of the secret sauce?
Yeah.
You know, can you?
By the way,
yeah,
the point of this podcast
yeah, right.
is to offer that secret sauce up to other people.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm always asking, and I'm always questioning, and I'm always intrigued by everyone else's success. And that plays as much of a part as being a good salesman as just the sheer knowledge that there's other people in the world that have gone through what you're going through. And as like men, we're supposed to be like this big macho type
Mhm.
thing. And, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's same as the next guy, right? But I mean, I'm pretty quick to ask for help. I'm pretty
Mhm.
quick to not know the answer. I'm pretty quick.
Is that humility or curiosity?
Well, I'm curious every day. I'm curious. I'm
Yeah.
curious, you know, and then, you know, it's hard. Then you got the humility fact. Then you've got that, you know, wow, that's going to go into a lot of stuff, huh? So
wait till I ask you what makes you cry.
yeah. Oh, geez. No, I mean,
Yeah.
my thing is that you're being a good salesperson is it. Being a good person is even better. And then being a person that wants to learn constantly is even better,
Mhm.
right? Because, and then overall, the whole overall arching thing is just being the best person that you possibly be. So, and try to stack up those days to do that. I mean, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to have problems. There's issues all along the road of owning your own business, and then you've got a lot of personalities. Then there's a lot of things that come into play
Mhm.
when you know, we're here in Hanover Park in 30,000 square foot building with, you know, soon to be 50, you know,
Mhm.
40, between 40
Yeah.
and 50 people, depends on who's coming in.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of personalities. And there's a lot. And like when you said, when I go home at night, which is new, right? I have a son, 4-month-old son,
Yeah.
which is a totally different thing. Which to me, when I go home, I get home and I have a time frame. It's 30
Yeah.
minutes to an hour
Decompression.
decompression because we're running on all cylinders. It's a very high intense type of gig.
And then
right?
you're going to start your second gig.
Yeah, and then
Dad.
which is more important than the first.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
But my thing is that you know, when I get home, there's a lot of other things that I'm thinking about besides just my family.
Mhm.
Thinking about a lot of decisions that we've made throughout the day or throughout the week that impact, like you said, everybody at the company.
Mhm.
And those are the difficult. Those are the days that are difficult.
Yeah.
You know, I've said this numerous times. I know that you've referenced it a few times. Is that it's 51-49, right? When you make 100 decisions a day and you make 51 good ones, you sleep pretty good.
Yeah.
You sleep. That's a winning record. And 51% is, you know, 51 good decisions.
Baseball, you're getting the wild card spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
I mean,
you know, and then there's only, that's a platform to build on, right?
Mhm.
It's just to make better decisions. And then you get that, you know, you get to get that up. When you first start business, you're not making all the best decisions. You're losing a lot more than you're winning. Because it's an investment. And you know, you're putting a lot of sweat equity into it. You're not getting paid. You're not seeing the fruits of your labor. So when you get home and you sleep well, typically the day went well. The times when you don't sleep well are when you made 51 bad choices, bad decisions, and 49 good ones, right? So it's like, that's kind of how I explain it to, you know, young business owners, or, you know, those are the things that really impact you. So it's like you're at home with your family, but there's decisions coming down the line that are coming at that Y in the road that are going to change the organization forever. And you've got to sit and collaborate with your team, because it's nothing of what I started the business, but this business would not be here unless it was for the people of the business. I mean, our organization, our culture here is amazing, right? But my thing is that when you have to make those tough choices and those decisions weigh on you. And when you collaborate with your inner group and your decision makers here at the company, you're trying to make those best decisions for everybody that's in the organization.
IT decision makers, this might sting. Frustrated with IT issues, security threats, and the stress of your technology infrastructure, your technology should blend seamlessly with your business objectives. Technology infrastructure management with limited resources can be exhausting and counterproductive. Do you have an MSP but still have problems and technical hiccups? GSD's advisement, proactive maintenance, cutting-edge cybersecurity, cloud solutions, data backup, and local 24/7 help desk can change the game. Your technology should outpace your business operations to allow for growth, and proactive strategies should prevent issues before they arise. Get back your time and your money with GSD. Drive business forward. Leave the technology to GSD. GSDnow.com. So we're a small to mid-sized business, all three.
Yeah.
Actually 6.
Yeah.
But our clients are prominent clients.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
Like some prominent clients. And not only in the for-profit, but for non-for-profit as well.
Absolutely.
Like big time purpose, giving back to society, to like life changers.
Yeah.
We're also competing with some prominent organizations.
Oh yeah.
That have
There's
big
good ones.
names.
Yeah. They're
have
awesome.
a lot of money.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And they're awesome.
Yeah.
And great competition.
Most of them are most of
they're friends of yours.
Yeah. And if not
mentors.
Yeah, if not definitely friends of mine, definitely acquaintances. But this is such a tight-knit community of entrepreneurs and of business owners, and everything else. I mean, there's one in particular that I would, that I've watched for 20 years, and it's amazing. I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a branding expert. Yeah.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I've always, it's just recently that I've gotten a really good, line of communication, and, and he's a wonderful guy, and his company is amazing. It's nationwide. He's a local, about an hour, 45 minutes away from us. But you find those people that want to give and want to educate and want to give back. And the guy the company's amazing. The owner is amazing. He's helped me. In fact, we have a meeting in the next couple of weeks. He's that I'm going over to his place, seeing some of his new buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. But then there's other companies and that you don't really hear about, are really like naysayers in the marketplace. They've got a bone to pick with people, and those are the ones that are kind of stagnant. Those are the ones that just don't get over that next hump.
Yeah.
They kind of stay there, and
they've got some internal blockage, which causes external blockage.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the universal.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point that I was going to bring up, is that, being a small to mid-sized company, to be able to interact with prominent organizations and service them and provide great results in a market that has fantastic competition that is prominent.
Yeah.
It's got to be very gratifying for you. Why do you think some of these organizations that, could have chosen to go other places, why did they choose TTSG? Why did they choose you in particular and then TTSG? Because I think they bought you first.
Yeah, there's a lot. People buy from people. I'm part of a big network. Been here my whole life. I was born in Indiana. I was here at 6 years old. My hometown is 20 minutes from here, 15 minutes from here. And I have a
graduate of Fremd High School.
Yeah, Fremd,
There you go.
Palatine. There you go. Yeah. Shout out to Fremd, right?
Fremd.
But my thing is that it's about the network, and it's about the people, and it's about what you put in is what you get out, right? If you're it's about the network. If you have any bit of a network that you can work for business, friends, family, other business owners, it turns out, it's a long play. It's not a short play. It's a very long.
That was kind of where I wanted you to go, without guiding you, because the world has become very impatient.
Yeah.
And very transactional.
Yep.
And very, well, we're going to throw a landing page up. There's going to be 4 links. You click on that link, and then we'll have somebody do a bid, and then you sign up. And by the way, everything is fantastic, and we're going to get you to sign up, and then we kind of disappear a little bit at year 1. It's a 5-year agreement, and we kind of disappear a little bit, and then the service kind of drops, and then 4.5 years into the agreement, we suddenly pop up again and want you to sign the agreement again. That has been the exact opposite of your mentality in building this organization. Is that because you believe so strongly in service? Is that because you've seen how this industry has kind of deteriorated a bit on service? Or is it because you have relied so much on your network to sell that you're really entrenched with these human beings and want to make sure that they have the ultimate brand experience? Or is it a combination of all of this? Just what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a combination of all of them. But when you look at, I get really tied in with our customers. Like, I go to a lot of events. I'm a part of a lot. I give a lot back to those organizations. So it's almost, and it's also on my name, right? So and they're personal contacts of mine. So, service in the industry has gone down quite a bit. There's a lot of manufacturers out there that the service is less than par, right? There's a lot of clients out there that don't know any better. They'll buy the big box names. They'll go from there. But when we go in from TTSG, and we're not any different. I mean, it's just everyone's got their own way to sell and stuff like that. But it's really our service. Our service is really second to none. We've got some unbelievable people. They're fantastic. They really live and breathe the company. And like I said, it's the culture of what you've built to know that if it's important to me, it's going to be important to them. And if it's important to me, it's important to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's they know, and the tenure here is, we've got guys here for 13, 14 years.
Yeah. I mean, the service department is pretty much has grown up here.
Yeah. It's their average tenure at the service department's over 10 years. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. To answer your question in the
it was a long question.
Yeah, it was a long question, but it's a good question because you've got to have the service. Service, you got to lead with service, right? And you got to do what's right for the customer. Constantly, you got to do what's right for the customer. But my thing is that the people here are what make the company, and they're what drive. They're the fuel. And when you have racing fuel in your blood, right? And they know that we use references, and we use the other the other businesses to network into other ones. At any given point, those companies can have a problem with TTSG. It can spread like wildfire. So they know that. Yeah. We've been lucky to have these people. We've been lucky that they're in the right position within the organization. And it's built on a network of mine, but now there's so many other people in sales, and that it's really they're building their own network now too. There's a time in the place, right? You're 2009, you started business in 2009, but 2013, 2014, 15, I knew every customer. I knew every customer.
Yeah, your name was on everything.
Yeah,
right?
but I knew every customer.
Yeah.
It was every customer.
It wasn't like you had a call center of people pounding the phone, bringing in random cold calls that were turning into customers. You were really working the referral base, which by the way is a magical way to build your sales and revenue stream. But it also is an accountability thing, like you just alluded to, because like if you're building off of referral base, then if you don't provide the same service,
get the phone calls at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, if your prominent client referred 3 of their friends because they trust you, they believe in you, and they like you, and then you don't give the same to those 3 they referred, that looks bad on them.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's actually works as an accountability measure.
Huge.
And 80% of our sales right now are still referral based on partnerships and relationships saying, hey, look, you did it for me. If I love people the way I love people, since you did it for me and you've done it for me like this for 10 years, shame on me if I don't refer you to my friends to get the same benefits.
Yeah, no, that's 100% accurate. But now the way that it's evolved is crazy because they were from the very beginning, right? There were people doing me favors, right? There's anybody and everybody could sell copiers and printers and they can supply okay service or, to get them by
a lower price.
Yeah, a lower price or whatever, not really adding value to anything. But when you start off with a network-based referral, like all of the business was in 2009, 2010, 2011, then you open that network up and you've got other sales reps that are coming in and you're introducing and that they're making the contacts with my contacts that are then spreading this all out. So
you better have a culture. You better have because they're becoming an extension of they're speaking on your behalf.
Yeah, correct. That's a lot. That's a lot.
How scary was that?
Yeah, that's the control part of the business. Yeah. When you get to a point that you're scaling your business and you're feeling, there's a lot of times that early on, I would go home and I'd be like, I feel out of control. Like it's out of control because it's not in this little box that I could, put a bow on it. And I don't know, like, who's this customer or what are they buying or how much is this deal or where are they located? There's a lot more going on. And now all of a sudden right now where we're at today and, with in the last year, there's a lot more coming to fruition. There's, it takes a while to build this up. And now all of a sudden we're just coming through and it's deal after deal after deal with the people that we've trained. And it's explosive and it's going well, but I don't know at this point, I don't know, maybe 25 customers a year.
Yeah.
I think we did the numbers. I think last year I knew about 24 customers.
Yeah.
Because that I've got into a relationship with, and then they've been so kind to go with TTSG and then to be serviced by us as well. So, there's hundreds of deals.
It's crazy.
So it's
10%? It also is great timing within the maturation process to start to tell brand stories.
Yeah.
Because now you can tell the marketplace your brand story with pride, authenticity, and you can know that you are living up to the story that is being told. The biggest challenge I see a lot of companies have is they have one persona online, like they're telling a story on social media, and then you go into their organization for any extended period of time, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I saw online. There's 2 different things happening here.
Yeah.
And I think what's really cool is the whole point of this podcast and just the content that we're putting out is we're just documenting what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you could tell by our tenor in our conversation right now, like there's no pad of paper here. We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
But we want you to understand who's steering the ship and kind of the philosophy and how it was built. But this, you had alluded to the point that you give back. And I've been very impressed with that in my time here. I've been to 2 events that are sponsored by TTSG, GSD in 2020, which means in most cases, you're probably affiliated with, part of, or in one case, the Kevin White Foundation originated. So you're doing a lot of giving back. What's been amazing to me is interacting with other CEOs and executives that are in your peer group and their relationship with money. I think I talked to you about this in the car the other day. How does that happen? The relationship that people that are in the middle class, let's say, of the world, and even upper middle class, have a different relationship with money than the top 1%. What I saw at these foundations was people donating 5 figures.
Yeah.
You know, the trip that they're getting in the auction is a $4,000 package, and they're paying 20 grand for it because they know that they're giving back to something. Now, you could say, well, they make so much money they could. Well, there's a lot of places they could put their money.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't get to the point of making that much money by not being smart with your money. So what is the relationship with money that you've established? And the top 1%, how do they look at money? It seems like you look more at money as an investment into people, the next thing, and that's going to come back to you. You like this universal energy. It's going to just keep coming back to you. So can you give our listeners a little bit of an idea of kind of how you look at money, your relationship with money?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of that going on. I mean, you've been with TTSG and GSD in 2020 for now 3-4 months.
Yep.
And you've come in during the summer. There's a lot of golf events that we have, and there's a lot of
dang it.
Yeah. there's a lot of charity events. And we've done quite a bit in the community to give back. I mean, there's 3 501c3s that rely on us. Every 3 or 4 years, every year we're giving, but then there's a bigger give, and it makes it's good for the community. The relationship with money that you have is that money comes and goes, right? You have good months, you have bad months. You've got to have some reserve. You've got to have a plan. But the more you invest in other things rather than material things, right? I feel give back tenfold. So if you're going to invest in somebody that's going to come to the organization, you know this firsthand, and they're asking for X amount of money, give it to them because they're happy, and you want happy, healthy environment at work. So when you're giving money and you're applying the principles of what the
brand stands for, the culture,
culture,
that jet fuel you're talking about.
Yeah. That's going to pay you back. You never know when. You're just it's odds. It's like the sports book. Like there's odds. This girl is doing really well. She's come from another company. Let's bring her in. Let's pay her what she wants. Let's invest the money into the people, into the process, into the procedures, into software, AI, automation. Let's do that. There's other individuals that don't do that. They don't invest back they take their money from their company. They take it, they store it to the side. They do their own stuff. Listen, I've taken money from the organization and I've given money back to our organization tenfold, right? It's not about that. It's about getting the company to where you want it to be. And it's risk.
And isn't it also getting 5, 6, 10, let's say you have a 50 employee company, getting 5, 6, 10, 15 people to want to fight for the brand as hard as you do. They'll never fight completely as hard because their name's
there's not all that much more fight left.
You know what I'm saying, but like to love the brand, to want the brand to succeed.
Yeah, there's always that. I have a passion. I have it's like a baby. Like my company is my baby and everything else. And I never understood that until I have a 4-month-old now, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at it and it makes a lot more sense now, right? It's your baby, but at point your baby learns how to crawl, learns how to walk, learns how to talk, throws the ball, goes into school, and next thing you know, they're off to college, and then they've started their own life. So we're at the point where this is 15 years, right? We're going on 15 years. It's a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? There's going to be things that are going on.
We might come home at 2 a.m. when our curfew's 10 a.m. 10.
Yeah. I mean, there's things. It's like a person.
Yeah.
You've got to look at, like, there's a lot of things going on right now in TTSG and GSD in 2020. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot
that pubescent age, our voice is changing.
Yeah, like we're becoming men and women.
Yeah.
And the people that have been here are feeling that. And, you know, we're doing build outs, and the office is changing, and we've got stuff going on in the back. And, you know, we've got a podcast now, right? So, and we've got 9 more people that, you know, we're a small business, right? Some of our competitors are very large competitors, right? They started with it. So this resonates with everyone that has a business. It resonates with my competitor, it resonates with my colleagues, my friends that own businesses. This is where we're at. It's a cool place to be, but I don't think we're going to be here for very long.
Yeah.
Like, we're moving up the ladder. And there's more people that are coming in. There's more people that are coming through the door, right?
Can your business handle 15% growth? If yes, you have to engage with 2020 Design. They fuse data and creativity to stop the scroll, break through the noise, and grab the attention of your future customers. 2020 Design will create competitive, click-worthy campaigns, design and build custom websites, spark your social media presence, and structure email campaigns that get right to your audience, the decision maker. Let's boost attention and awareness, which allows you to convert more sales. Check them out at 2020design.com. That's the number 20, TWENTY design.com.